it's not on.
Right, and your camera's off, so that's good.
Right.
So we're live anyway.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is week 4.
Yeah.
Uh, Tonight we're going to be talking about dreams and sleep. Because they're quite mysterious, really. And even though they've been studied in depth since the beginning of time, it seems, uh, they still don't really know what they are and what they're for. And we're going to be talking about sleep and dreaming, even though they're two different things, but they are linked together because you do dream when you're sleeping, but you can sleep without dreaming, and you can dream while you're awake. So you don't need one for the other, but they are like linked anyway. So yeah, what do you think about dreaming, Aaron?
Well, it's something that I don't get to experience quite a lot. Um, I just don't tend to recollect my dreams. I do more daydreaming than sleep dreaming. They say that's because if you're woken up when you first fall asleep, or if your sleep's disturbed, then you remember your dreams more. So perhaps I need to set my alarm a bit earlier.
Yeah, maybe. Well, according to the experts, you do spend at least 2 hours of the night dreaming, but just not everybody, like you said, recollects the dreams or remembers them. And they, even if you do remember your dream when you wake up, they say that you've forgotten 50% of it before you've gotten out of bed. And then as the day goes on, more and more of the detail slips away from you. So
Yeah, within the first few minutes, it's sort of disappearing to a point where it's just a shadow thought.
yeah, it always reminds me of sand, running through your
Oh,
fingers,
right. That's a good
trying
analogy.
to remember it. So, yeah, I think we'll start with sleep first of all. Anyway, what what do we think sleep is, and why do we do it? What are some of the mainstream sleep?
Well, it's just a disconnect from the conscious mind. So you're unconscious, so then your subconscious takes over. Now, there's been studies into it that suggest it's dreams are a release of repression, repressed feelings, like your conscious mind's taking on so many things in a day, and you're ignoring most of them, like the touch, the smell, what you see, how it makes you feel. It's like you can't take everything on board, so a lot of that's just repressed. So it's like we deal with them things in our sleep. So it's a natural process that we have to go through.
But do you think it's more related to physical requirements of like you have to physically turn yourself off, shut your
Yeah,
brain off, so that your body can replenish itself and renew itself
yeah.
for the
It's
next.
like regenerates itself. It goes into, I don't know, like repair mode. Um, like you're obviously tired because you need the sleep, and like your body can really work on itself without any interference. So it's like 100% cleaning, and it's like and that's more important. Is it as important as a dream? Is a dream just something that keeps us asleep?
Yeah, well, one theory of dreams is that it is just something to keep your mind conscious or stimulated whilst your body gets that
Mm.
rest and regeneration. So that is one theory out there that there's no meaning to dreams whatsoever, and it's just brainwave activity.
Well, the brain waves go off the scale, so it's not like your brain's really getting a rest whilst you're asleep. When you're dreaming, anyway. And it seems that we go through a pattern. There's 4 different levels of sleep, and over an hour and a half, we go through all the 4 levels again and again. It's just repeated. Now, I think the level 1 rapid eye movement is the one that we get the vivid dreams in, and where you got more chance of being awoken. But I presume as you go lower, deeper into the levels, the subconscious takes over more, doesn't it? Because the ego's left out while she's sleeping.
Yeah, I guess so, because some dreams can be quite disturbing, and not something that you would choose to look at, you know, especially like nightmares and things. So it's not, it's, if your ego was at play, it would be like trying to protect you from that. It wouldn't want it. It would want to shield you from it, wouldn't it? I suppose.
Well, Sigmund Freud, he saw the dreams as the ego lets go and the subconscious takes control. But there's an id. He called it an id, which is what is ID. And that is like the most basic form of a human, and it's really a monster. But that wants to take over. But we have to censor ourselves. So these dreams would just wake us up. They become nightmares. So it's like the subconscious is being censored before it takes over. So where are our dreams coming from? Is it us dreaming? Because it's like we're an observer.
Was that a question?
Yeah, it's a question. It's a rhetorical question. Well, you know, you're just like a third person in your dreams, aren't you? For me personally, I'm just watching.
Yeah,
I'm not creating it. For me, anyway, that I don't create the dream. It's just there for me to watch and take on board.
yeah, well, people dream in all different ways, and I always presume that everybody just dreamt like me, which is like watching a movie. But I'm not always observing. I do feel like I'm sometimes like right in it.
Well, that's you. The dreams that you described to me when you've told me in the past, something that seems special that I don't believe everyone does experience. So maybe you should tell us a bit about them.
I will do later.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, they do feel more concrete. But some people just dream light. Some people just have sounds. Some people just feel the emotion of the dream and kind of piece it together that way. So, yeah, it is. People do dream in different ways. I think that we probably do need sleep, obviously, to regenerate the body because your muscles feel tired, you ache, you get a headache, you get stressed, and sleep is one of those fundamental things that if you don't get it when you need it, it completely affects your personality. And it's a bit like, you know, when you don't get food and you get hungry, it's one of the first things that can trigger anger in people, and alter the mood in such a dramatic way. So,
people get off on it, don't they? Not sleeping, where it'll like sends them to the brink of insanity after a few days. So we do need it, like you said,
yeah,
water and food.
and I think dreams are well, I'll talk about what other people think they are. But you was talking about Sigmund Freud, and he wrote a book, The Interpretation of Dreams, and he basically says that dreams are motivated by your unconscious mind, and and it's all your urges and repressed feelings and impulses, and they come to the surface in different forms, sometimes in different symbols, and he's got all different symbols for different meanings of things. But he basically thinks that everyone's this got these depraved
Yeah,
that they can't, that you know, they can't talk about in
twisted.
their life.
Well, he worked out there's like four kind of people. There was people who feel, people who think, and people who live subliminal. Is it intuitively? I think he was referring to them as dreams, like he said earlier. Some dreams make you feel emotional, so you'd be like a more of an emotional person. Some people might just create thought from the dreams and not feel anything. So that goes down to what kind of person you are.
Yeah. So what you were saying before about the id and the ego and the super ego, they're like the three categories of the personality,
Well,
the psyche that
the
Freud
ego
says.
stops us feeling certain things, so that's where we deal with things. What the ego's taken out of dreams, so that's when we can deal with things subconsciously that need to be dealt with, that you can't perhaps not even realizing are an issue in everyday life.
So this is what I'm talking about then. So you're saying that you feel that dreams are a way of dealing with things internally that subconsciously, not
Uh,
consciously, you can't deal with. So you're dealing with it subconsciously.
well, this is how they interpret dreams, but we can put our own thoughts onto it, can't we? I mean,
Yeah,
it really
definitely.
as a spiritual side, as in you could be getting messages or maybe look into the future or other things.
Well, in according to history, in ancient times, people did put hold dreams in high regard, and they're taken very seriously. And the dreams dictated how civilizations were run in some cases. Um, so, like the Egyptians, for example, they had a dream book that they used to write the dreams into, and the good dreams were written in black, and the bad dreams that were like omens were written in red. And they thought there was well, messages from the gods basically, giving them guidance for the future.
Yeah, many cultures felt that way. I think even the Romans, you could go before. I'm not sure if it was the Senate or what they called it, but you could tell them about your dreams and they would interpret them for you. So they took them seriously, didn't they?
Yeah, so but they're not really taking that seriously into our society. Why do you think that is?
Well, Carl Jung, he treated his patients. There was a case of a woman who thought she'd been to the moon and she couldn't snap out of it. She kept having a constant psychosis. So he treated her as if she had been to the moon and accepted what she thought was her reality as a reality. And she managed to get better after that point onwards. She stopped having it because someone understood and took on faith that her reality was real to her and understood it that way. So it's like, what are the lines between reality? You know, if it's real to you, then who's to say it isn't real just because it's not in the physical?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the something that I was reading with the Native Americans. I don't know who wrote this, but it really caught my attention. And it says that we don't come here to live, we only come here to sleep, only to dream. And there's there's a deeper belief with the Native American culture that um, dreaming can open doorways to alter things in this reality, and not dreaming of what, one day being a champion and then going to the gym every day and then in years time becoming a champion, not making those kind of dreams come true, but actually dreaming something and physically changing something in this reality. So
can it not be for personal gain? It has to be for not just yourself. Then you can manifest it. Can it be manifested that way? Is that what you mean?
no, I don't know. I'm just saying that in the Native American cultures, they had that belief that um, the boundaries on realities could be blurred, and they could be distorted, and they could distort them themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we just concentrate on the physical, what's around us, what we can see and touch, and it's not that simple, really. But if you think, outside of the box, there's not much research there. It's just, but there should be. People should be encouraged to talk about these things because they're interesting, aren't they?
They are very interesting. We should say hello to the viewers, because there's some people watching.
Hey.
John Smith Blowfly and Roxanne have both come in to say hello, and there's some other people watching as well. So we're just discussing sleep, and we're discussing dream,
and astral projecting hopefully later.
Yeah, if you stay for like, oh, there's been loads of chat, but yeah, we're busy talking about sleep, and in the truth community, in the truth movement, everyone thinks they're awake, and there's a common thought. I'm not saying that I share it, that the rest of the population are sedated and asleep and sleepwalking through life, but we're talking about physically sleeping and going to bed at night, and what happens to us when we are asleep, and why do we actually go and physically turn ourselves off and put ourselves in the most vulnerable state, and what happens to our mind? Where does that go? And is there any relevance to that in reality? So yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, trying to make, well, not sense of it, but just see what we can come up with.
So the scientists tell us that we need to sleep to regenerate our bodies, so that we can stay healthy, and also so that we can regenerate our mind, because without sleep we go insane rather quickly. And beauty therapists will tell us to go to sleep because we need our beauty sleep, and apparently there's a peak time between midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning where your cells do literally regenerate. And I don't know how true that is because I learned it in a college. But anyway,
I saw a chart someone posted, and our body goes into different cycles every hour and a half during the day. And it was really interesting. I should have shared it, really, but I didn't feel like I had the depth of knowledge to defend it. Someone started picking holes in it, so I didn't. But yeah, it was really interesting, the different cycles that would go in, and it was suggesting like you have a sleep in the day, and that's when certain things like your gallbladder will be working, and just it was really interesting. It all went through this cycle over 24 hours and then started again, and sleep was a big part of it.
So, well, it's a big part of our lives, sleep, because we spend so much of it actually asleep.
What, a third, if you're lucky?
Is it?
Well, they say a third, and they said 10% of that is spent dreaming. Actual deep dreaming of that,
So,
a third, so 8 hours. 10%.
So we spend a lot of time dreaming then?
No, just 10% of the 8 hours. But, who were there to say what and when?
And so throughout history, it seems that dreams have been held in very high regard, and
in the past,
in
yeah.
the past, in past cultures, they've always been a topic of discussion for people, and they've helped to guide whole civilizations
Mm.
through different types of crises. Like they've helped people through wars and stuff. They've made military decisions on the back of people's dreams.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why
Well,
we're
they
not taught of the
discovered
importance of dreams and why they're not regarded so important anymore, you know.
because they don't want you dreaming. They want your feet on the ground in this reality. It's like they tax you if they could on dreams. It's like you see people post, "What can you do that's not taxed these days?" And dreaming's one of them, innit?
Yeah.
But also, they mentioned that we have a collective dream, but this isn't like something that we dream together. It's something that we center ourselves in our dreams. So, like things in society that you've got to conform to, or even subliminal things where you center yourself. Actually, you take over into your dreams, which I found quite fascinating and scary. That they can actually have such a deep effect on our psyche.
The dreams can have such a deep effect on your
No,
psyche.
the society and the rules that we have to follow can have such a deep effect on our psyche that they would affect our dreams, our subconscious, where we're actually like censoring ourselves in our sleep without even realizing it, and that adds to where repression of your thoughts, and that could be creating some of the dreams that you deal with. But then the dreams are watered down because if you got a full-on dream, you'd wake up. So the lights, what your own mind waters down what you're going to see to
Yeah, that's
reduce the shock.
that's sorry, I was trying to read some chat at the same time. Yeah, that's really deep actually. But yeah, like so in for example, in dreams where you follow man-made laws in a dream, like if you're
Yeah,
driving a car, you stop red light and stuff like that. Yeah. So the rules that apply to us in this reality, they are laid so deep that they affect your dreaming mind.
yeah, you sort of censoring yourself in your dreams without realizing it, but just to conform to the social norm. It's like it runs that deep.
Yeah. I've never thought about that before. Never considered it,
No, well,
but it's
you don't, do you?
when I think, yeah,
That's why it's good to talk and just think about these things, throw them around, innit?
well, it's because we're not taught about these things in school, are we? And it doesn't seem to be of any importance in culture, in the mainstream culture. But in actual fact, people that run massive organisations and huge companies and highly successful people, they all have people that well basically psychics that work for them, and they'll read the stars for them, and the zodiac, things like this. And there's other people that dream for people. They dream ideas, or they dream and they pick up clues and try and guide people for future business plans and things like this. So it is still used, but we're just not told about it.
No, or given a way to interpret what we're told. I mean, a psychoanalyst is someone who studies what you dream, and they'll ask you about your dreams and the certain images, and then they'll say, "How do you feel about that image?" And then they'll try and break it down and put that to you, and it usually works, but it's just their way of approaching it. It's down to the personal interpretation of who's doing it. So someone else could do the same thing and come up with a different answer. So there is no set science. There's nothing set. It's the questions you ask, isn't it?
It is. Now, there are some sets in the sleep realm with the stages of sleep. The scientists seem to all agree on the stages of sleep and brainwave activity during those stages of sleep.
Yeah. So you got your rapid eye movement.
Yeah, let's have a look.
And then you got your N. I'm not sure what the N stands for, rapid eye movement. It just goes 1, 2, 3. And apparently these repeat every hour and a half.
So you're on a loop throughout the night.
Over the night, yeah.
Going through these stages of sleep.
Yeah. So you're going to get your more memorable, vivid dreams in the early stages of when you're slipping off to sleep. That's when you're most likely to be awoken. So that's why you probably recall them. But I'm not sure what comes of the others. I mean, you probably are sleeping because the activity's there, and they reckon it helps in building neural pathways and regenerating the brain. So,
yeah, well, that was one of the other things that they did say, that cognitive functions can be improved while sleeping.
yeah.
So you can literally download stuff in your sleep.
Well, you're dealing with things, aren't you, that you're not really confronted yourself with. You can't avoid dealing with it when it's there. Like some dreams may make you feel really emotional. It could be something from 10 years ago.
Yeah, some dreams can evoke such deep emotions that it can affect the whole of the next day.
Yeah, it could affect that. You could, like, say if you got a partner, you could dream that they cheated on you, and you wake up the next day. It's like, oh, you dirty bastard! You let me down. You cheated. I saw it. It's like, but it's just a dream, but it seems very real.
Yeah, so they have a lasting effect on us as well.
Well, they're exposing your insecurities as well, aren't they?
Yes.
Mm. Some are more complex than others. The answer isn't always obvious.
Well, no, it all seems very cryptic, especially depending on how people receive the information as well, because not everyone dreams in full technicolor and surround sound. Some people just are picking up little segments of information through a sound or smell or
Well, that's yeah. Yeah.
so.
Well, they say people who were born when black and white TVs were around for a few years dream in black and white. So things like that obviously have an effect on us. The TV. So it must be getting in your mind really deeply to have such an effect.
Well, I didn't know that affected people dreaming in colour or not, but because someone I know that wasn't born in that time dreams in black and white, which shocked me. But yeah, can you imagine dreaming in black and white?
Yeah, that would be pretty weird.
So when you dream, do you have colours? Do you have sound? Is it pictures? Is
I
it real?
I feel emotions in my dreams. I see things and it makes me feel emotional. And then when I wake, I've got that feeling of emotion, usually like dread or something like that. Because that's
Yeah,
probably why I remember it. Because it's like it's like it hit me quite deeply. So you keep that with you. And when you're aware that feeling, it's like it's like some dreams can last months. That you can go back in your mind and just feel that same emotion just by running through it, because it'll stick in your mind so vividly. You know, it's like it seems as real as reality. Just for them few seconds, just when you think back. So yeah, they do have an effect on you, and the ones that have had an effect on me haven't made sense. So it's like a premonition or something, really. But will it ever come to light, or will it ever make sense? I don't know. I don't think so. But then I think sometimes deja vu kicks in, where you might get a certain moment in time in the future where you feel that exact same way for no apparent reason, and it's you recollect that dream. It brings it back to you.
Do you think deja vu is a form of dreaming?
I think deja vu is a recollection of a dream. That sometimes the lines are a bit grey between dreaming and reality. You know, given years of time. So then it's like a flashback, innit? So couldn't sometimes you not remember the dream, you just remember the feeling, which seems familiar because you dreamt it, but you didn't recollect it.
Yeah, sometimes dreams can come back as like little snippets of memory throughout the day, rather than feeling like when you just woke up and you just remember the dream. It comes back to you in little snippets through the day, and it feels more like a memory of something rather than a dream. But it's not a memory because it's not something that ever happened. So
Well, sometimes you don't
yeah,
remember at all after waking, and then something happens in the day which will trigger the memory of the dream. Is that what you meant? Or do you get
no,
so?
not no. It's just no. You can just be doing the dishes or something, and then little snippets of a dream will come back to you. But it's more. It just feels more like a memory rather than a snippet of a dream.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
like
that's just what.
it's your reality, isn't it? A dream is just an own personal reality.
So yeah, but what we're talking about, dreaming and sleep. Um, so you can sleep and not dream.
But they
You
say
can
the
just go to
best
sleep.
sleep is when you don't dream.
Yeah, when your mind's not as active.
Yeah.
Because I have very lucid dreams, and they feel very physical dreams, like you're really there, and it's not like you're an observer. It's like you are there, and you're looking out of your eyes. Um,
Well, it's like
and so
a third person in it. For me, it's like a third person.
yeah, no, this isn't like a third person. This is
Mm.
like first person experience. But there are some lucid dreamers that can control the dreams and control what happens next. Because although dreams can be very lucid, like you can often not have any control of what's going on, even though you're fully aware that you are dreaming and anything's possible.
Well, this is where you differ from me because I feel like you can control your dreams. Am I right?
I don't know if I have any control over them. I dream frequently, and I often recall my dreams, and I have very lucid dreams. So because they feel very physical, I just think there's more detail to remember. So you just do remember more.
Well, you have had marks in the past, am I correct, where you dreamt that something's hit you or scratched you, and you have physically had a mark there when you were awake?
Yeah, Right, so what we're going to be talking about now is like there's different stages of sleep, there's different stages of dreaming, and a stage of dreaming is astral projection, which is where you're not physically in your body, or at least you don't feel like you're physically in your body. Um, the Native Americans, they also believed in astral projection, and it's described as the separation of the subtle body, which houses consciousness, from the corporeal, resulting in the experience of being outside one's body. So it is literally like having your consciousness taken out of your body, and you can project it anywhere that your mind can imagine, basically. So this happens to me, and I don't feel like I have a whole lot of control over where I go and the things that happens. But an interesting thing that happens is when I do have an astral projection, and I do have these very lucid dreams where I can create things. Um, I get physically attacked in the dream, but I wake up here like feeling like I'm being physically attacked in the same place. Um, so, but this is also a common thing, which I have recently found out, that people that are able to lucid dream or astral project, or induce out of body experiences, they are attacked as a deterrent for doing it. So it's not, you're not allowed to do these things. You're not supposed to be able to just leave your body when you want to, or create these great worlds to live in these dreams. So the other day, interestingly, I watched a film called Dark City, and in Dark City, um, this population of people are controlled by these hidden forces, these alien creatures that basically put them all to sleep every night, and inject them with false memories for the next day. And sometimes it fails on people, and sometimes people are able to control that reality, like the like the aliens. And it just seemed to parallel this thing that people experience when they have astral projection. So that was an interesting side note.
An interesting view on it.
Mm.
I think they spoiled it at the end of the film because they had to. Because if it made too much sense, then people would start making the connection.
And
But
what?
I think the people should give more thought and um, I can't say power to the dreams, but listen to the dreams a little bit more. And I've tried to do the astral projecting myself, but I just can't seem to do it. Maybe you could tell people the best way of doing it, or do you want to talk more about where you go in yours?
I think it's important, because I don't,
No,
you
well, it's
know,
personal to you, isn't it? You don't want people
yeah,
psychoanalyzing you.
yeah, I don't want to let people in too much. No, but because dreams are very personal to the subjective, aren't they? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Um, to the experiencer, so they kind of
Mm.
never going to make sense to to somebody listening. But everyone does experience, these same thoughts and emotions found in dreams and sleeping. And I just always found it peculiar how we did have to like switch ourselves off and put ourselves on standby. It's just TV.
Yeah, but is it really being turned off? I know that it's like the body's totally switched off, but the mind isn't. Does it? But does it ever? It's not. Is it? Can it? Does it need to shut down, or does it just need to deal with things that have happened in the day, like a filing
Well,
system?
can it ever really shut down? Does it ever really shut down? And then that just brings you on to the question of, you know, how did you get here, and was there anything before you became conscious? When did you become conscious in this, you know, in this life? And so, how can life be anything other than a dream?
Well, if you like followed your dreams more and listened to them more, then would you be more of a conscious person than someone who ignores them and just doesn't listen to them and just sees them as something that happens? So, like in the past, they would have took the dreams on board more. So, were they more conscious back then? But they just didn't have the things we have today.
But like iPads and things.
Yeah, and communication, and I mean, how would you learn 200 years ago other than from the elders, really, passing down information? So your pool of knowledge would be quite restricted. I mean, you can go to a library nowadays and you wouldn't actually learn that much, would you? In your average library, I mean, maybe the bigger ones you'd learn quite a lot, but going back before libraries and things, did people learn stuff?
Yeah, from the elders. I see what you're saying.
And dreams, because we've got like instinct, haven't we? I mean, is dreams opening up to your instinct more? I mean, can you learn more from that than just what you learn at school? It is a thing, isn't it? Instinct. But how deep does it run? Does it run your subconscious? Is it the thing that shows what you've experienced? Is that creating your dream that you're observing?
I think it's the thing that triggers your conscious.
But Carl Jung called it the shadow, and Sigmund Freud called it id. So they both were aware of it, but it's actually darker self.
Yeah, but this is where Sigmund Freud thought all your dreams came from
A sexual.
your darker self.
Yeah, but
and if you were having dark dreams, he had symbols for everything that all reverted back
symbolism.
to.
So it goes to shapes and
Say
things.
that again.
But then you're connecting to nature, because that's how nature speaks, with symbols and shapes and emotions.
It does. Yeah, but I just can't take one person's symbols.
No,
Because
what's
he just
my
put his own.
Yeah, that would mean something.
Yeah.
Yours.
You know what I mean?
That's
So,
why
yeah, I don't know.
you could never share the same reality. Reality is something that you only can experience as an individual.
But then what is reality? And I just think it's a dream.
It is a dream. Did you say it earlier?
Yeah, I did say it.
Dreaming.
Yeah.
And we don't get enough time to do it. I thought that we get a siesta in the days like the Spanish do.
Yeah, me too. I second that.
By law.
And everyone should write the dreams down.
Yeah,
and
right. Dreams down.
They don't necessarily have to take the dream book to the council, but they should at least sit down with the family, you know, discuss the dreams after siesta.
Yeah.
Because it might get to the bottom of some deep-rooted family issues. It might, you know, you might have had a funny dream. It might cause some humour. So, and it's a talking point. Families should talk, shouldn't they? So we start with the dream book.
Yeah, definitely. Make it like a what did you dream Friday, rather than playing board games. Discuss what your dreams of the week were, or your best one.
That's a great idea. I found something out today, which is quite funny, that a lot of lucid dreamers happen to be left-handed, and I'm left-handed, and people are never surprised to find out that I'm left-handed. Because oh, I knew you'd be left-handed.
So
What's that about?
does that mean if you're left-handed, you're more creative? So does that mean your right-handed side of your brain is more developed?
I honestly don't know.
I think it works the other way around. I'm not quite sure, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, go back to front.
So I'm always like I'm right-handed, but I'm always fidgeting with something in my left hand, trying to strengthen up my left-sided lobe, or is it my right-sided for the left? But you know, to enhance my creativity, hopefully.
Do you know what you should? Do you know what you should do instead of fidgeting with something?
What?
You should just pick up a pencil and a piece of paper.
And write with my left hand.
No, write something down, or draw a picture, or draw what you see, or make a pattern. That'll enhance your creativity. Like, how long have you been fidgeting with? Get creative.
A couple of years now.
How's it going?
I knew that's why you laughed when I said that. Yeah, I'm really rubbish at being creative.
Yeah, do that. I actually, that's a tip. That's a tip for the audience.
I'm not an artistic person, so I'd rather be creative in my thought and all my thought processes work. So that's what I'm doing it for, really, so I can just like enhance both sides of my brain to get an even look at things.
But that's just like one of those things what you've read in it. Like if you if you're a right brain thinker or whatever, and you want to
I'm
increase your
right-handed.
creativity, fidget with something in your left hand.
Well, it was just like
but really,
trying to
just make some.
enhance my coordination in my left hand, so it's like as equally to my right, and it has worked. But I can't write as well with my left hand as I can with my right. I have tried the writing experiment. It's not quite. I'm not quite there yet, but I should do it more really. But like you say, yeah, I should draw on that. But if I draw, it's like I'm drawing when I was 10-year-old. My artistic skills haven't developed much.
That might just be your style of drawing.
Well, I draw things exactly the same as when I was 10, like my little faces and things. It's just, yeah, they're pretty rubbish.
Yeah. I've only got one style of handwriting. And that's from when I was about 10 years old as well.
My handwriting can change, but not very much. But sometimes it's a lot neater than others. But like in other days, I can spell a lot better than others.
If I write a letter on A4 paper from top to bottom, it looks like 4 different people have been writing on it.
Is that because you get bored halfway through, start rushing?
Oh, no, I'll probably start off really trying to be really neat, and then I get tired of that and find something a bit easier, and then I'll adjust the paper and just no idea. I'm just inconsistent.
I'm a smudger. I always smudge my letters because I like rub my hand on the ink.
Yeah, well, I do as well, but that's not my fault. That's because I'm left-handed, and they make us write from left to right, and it should be the other way around. Everyone used to write left to right,
Yeah,
and read left. I mean, right to left, and read left.
they took all our
You
spell writing capabilities away from us, aren't they? They don't want us
think that's what it is?
writing a spell.
Yeah, that's possibly what it is.
Well, they hide the language and they hide the way we write, so they're scared of something, aren't they? Or else they'd just give it us all if there wasn't a problem that could arise.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
And they tell us that dreams are not important,
Yeah. I mean,
and secretly,
back to dreams. Do you daydream quite a lot? I mean, I'm quite a heavy.
daydreaming. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, is
I
it?
do daydream.
Sorry, go on.
I daydream.
Yeah, is it seen as a form of psychosis, though?
I haven't looked into it.
Well, if you
I've
keep
never considered
drifting
it a
off
problem.
daydream, it is labelled, it could be labelled as a psychosis, but I mean, I've always daydreamed since being a kid, and it's like when you're pondering a thought, or actually you can get visuals in a daydream where you're not really looking with your eyes, you're seeing with your mind.
Yeah, definitely. And audio.
Oh, well, yeah, you can like have conversation. Yeah, it's seems more in
Yeah,
control of them kind of daydreams, though. But they do have a life of their own, don't they?
they definitely do. Daydreams can be very powerful, like you said. And also, we're told not to daydream, aren't we? You know, in school and stuff. We're told
Mm.
off every time you drift off into a daydream.
Yeah, you're not allowed to
We're
stare out
told,
the window.
pay, pay attention, Neil.
Yeah.
Stop daydreaming.
Well, I remember when I first
Isn't
went
it?
into primary school, he says, "I'll have you so well like trained that if a bomb went off outside the window, you wouldn't have a look to see." It's like fucking right. Just a zombie looking at my desk.
Yeah, so I quite like daydreaming. I do it a lot.
Oh, it's my favourite pastime. I do some of my best thinking whilst daydreaming. If I can focus on just one topic, then I'll be bouncing it around inside my mind.
Yeah, you come with some good realizations when you're daydreaming, do you?
Yeah, it can do. Especially if there's nothing on my mind and it's just like a pleasant place to be, having a nice daydream.
What kind of things do you daydream about, Aaron?
I can daydream about anything. Just Facebook is great for that because there's just so much information there. You can just go off on a tangent every 10 minutes if you want. Daydream about anything. It's a problem solving process, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Just because
Pon-
I don't really remember my dreams. Perhaps I do a lot of me figuring out the day in my daydreaming time. But I have so much time on my hands that I can do that.
Yeah, I think actual dreaming. People used it for fortune telling and for telling the future. I think it does have prophetic value, but not because it's seeing directly into the future. Because I think your subconscious mind, has picked up on subtle clues of how things are going. So then it's just planting that seed further in your brain by making you dream about it. So
We can have that many
just
points of view and opinions that you confuse yourself and you don't see what's going on around you. But your subconscious don't deal with that kind of thing. So it's like I say, instinct. It knows what's going on more than you do.
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
But someone said that the conscious aren't conscious, or the unconscious. There's a bit of truth in that. Just like,
In what way?
well, you're just like zombies, disconnected. I mean, just walking around staring at your iPhone, that's a kind of psychosis. But when you're walking around and you should be aware of reality as it is given to us, you're in your phone. You don't want to be there. It's like it's an addiction, isn't it?
In another dreamland. Yeah.
Yeah, like needing that device takes you away from yourself. It's a disconnection. But being able to do that without the iPhone is nice. But we lose that power because it's easy. It's just like at the press, you just pull it out your pocket and you're there. And it's like it's like distancing you from the ability of being able to do it yourself. So I like just shutting everything down and just having a doze me in the daytime, where I can just have a couple of hours just pondering and let my own imagination take me where it wants to. I recommend it to anyone if you've got the time.
It sounds very pleasant.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, an afternoon nap is quite a nice way to spend an afternoon. I have one myself at least once a week.
Well,
Um,
Facebook could get
and if
tired at YouTube.
yeah, if I was a doctor, I would recommend sleep to anybody, because it is really good for you.
Well, it is, and not many people getting quality sleep.
No, why do people not get quality sleep these days?
I mean, TV and things like that don't help you sleep really, do they? And the stress that the news creates and things like that's on people's minds. They're not really switching off, and the pressures of work and what you got to do tomorrow, and you got to be here and there, and sort of just puts loads of worry on your mind. So when you do sleep, you're dealing with these little issues rather than the big picture, what actually matters to you. It all gets confused. It's all like air wire.
Yeah, people's lives are so hectic and stressful that
It's
they
like
can't even get a restful sleep.
it's like some terrorist drove into a fucking wall in Westminster this week. And is that really important to you? But just the shock factor, oh, they had a Cobra meeting, all this, they're trying to make it so it's like, oh, wow, this is important. But it isn't. It don't fucking matter to me or you, really, does it? It's just some fucking nutter. It shouldn't get the publicity. But then people take that on board. And I mean, man, it's not affecting you, but it is really because it's just things all add up. So it's there in your mind. Shock value, everything's shock value. Your overemphasis of the real situation to make it seem a lot worse than it is, and you're taking all that on board all day long.
Yeah, people are working long hours,
Working long
and so
hours.
they don't get no quality time with the families and
Oh,
things like that.
kids, you got relationship, you got bills. It's like, Jesus, man. And then you're going to have a vivid dream. You've got time to ponder that.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, so we're all disconnected. And
So would you say then that the dream world is a deep connection to your inner self?
yeah, I think the dream world's as real as any form of reality. It's real as watching TV anyway. And it's a lot more real, to be honest, because it's more important to you. But it's just your own reality, isn't it? But every single thing that we experience in life is just your own personal reality. So you can say what it is. It's oh, you want to deal with it, but I think people shouldn't dismiss it, and listen. I don't know, maybe find out what they actually mean. The hidden message, try and work it out.
Yeah, and then because it's like you're giving yourself guidance then for your own life, for your own dream.
And people feel a bit lost, and it's there in front of you all the time, and it's always been there. This reoccurring dream. What does it really mean? It might be something so obvious, and so that's why the psychoanalyst, they'll ask you what your dreams mean and what that certain image you remember means to you, and then they'll break it down, and then they'll make sense of it for you. But I'm sure you could do that yourself. They've just studied the images, like you said, symbols and that. So it's like fixing yourself at the doctor's. Fix your dreams. I mean, your dreams are something you experience every night if you're lucky. So take them more serious.
Yeah, because there's probably some hidden message in there that will help you
talk to someone about it. When you tell me about some of your dreams, I'm like, wow, it's fucking amazing. I'm like, I wish I could do that. So I've been trying to do the astral projecting, and you've got a few tips on that, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I should share them, if it's wise or not, because I don't want people getting attacked in the sleep by some shadow entity.
Well, shadows. But if you know that.
Really, this comes with a bit of a warning. I sound like a lunatic, but I'm being serious. Well, I'll not tell people how to do it, because you can just go and research it and look into it and look into it yourself. But this is kind of what the Native Americans were talking about with altering reality, because they say, if you're strong enough in the dream world to affect things, you can affect things really here. And that goes back to that film, Dark City, where some people do have the ability to affect that reality. And they can tune in to that frequency. I can't remember where I was going with this, but so yeah, you can go and check it out. But there was a guy called Robert Monroe who was, I think, one of the first people that really did studies on this phenomena of astral projection, of leaving your body, of your consciousness leaving your body. So he worked in or something like that, and he was out himself, and I think he'd been to see some doctors because he thought he was losing his mind. And they told him, no, it's quite common, but we don't know what it is, and there's nothing wrong with you. So he started up this research institute on astral projection, so people can go and find out all about it. I find it really interesting. It is interesting stuff. People claim there's whole levels out there that they're actual places that you can travel to, and it's mapped out in detail. I've never looked at any of these maps. I don't know if I've ever been to any of these places. I know I've been to a cartoon world. I know that was real.
Which one weren't that Family Guy, were it?
It was just like Family Guy, just like that.
Now, I've been to these realms, but I've been to them whilst on magic mushrooms on a psychedelic. But I've never been to them in my sleep whilst unconscious, that I can recollect at least anyway.
Yeah, the one thing to mention about astral projection is you're not unconscious at all. You're fully conscious, and the trick to inducing it is to stay conscious whilst you go through the different stages of sleep. So, whilst you go into light sleep, and then whilst you go into like rapid eye movement and stuff, you're trying to stay conscious while you go through those phases, um, essentially.
Your body
And
will
that
play
should,
tricks on you though, won't it? It'll make you like
and
itch and things.
then you can you can go and do some lucid dreaming and create some fantastic dreamscapes and do amazing things, fly, shoot lasers and stuff, do backflips through the air, like just things that you're not capable in everyday life.
Mm.
Um, but then there's a thing um, called remote viewing, and I'm pretty sure the CIA have done studies in this, and I think the military use it as a weapon against enemies, and it's called remote viewing. And basically, people to get soldiers and they train them to project the consciousness out of the body and go and spy on the enemy. They give them coordinates and they transport themselves there. Now, you believe it or not, you can research this. You can go and look it up. It's all out there. So you don't have to believe in it.
No, you can continue. Don't
You
worry
know,
about
the military believe in it. You know, so it's not, these things, they're not talked about in everyday life. And the most common thing that we do, we do it every single day. We go to sleep and we dream and we get up and never talked about, nothing's explained about it. You're just given the basic biology of it, and told that it's insignificant and it plays no part in reality, basically, is what you're told. And I think that that's not true. I think there's a lot more to it, but that's because I have these fantastic dreams, um, and I might be, putting too much importance in them. But I just think there's a lot more out there
No, I think it should be
than,
encouraged, and you shouldn't be putting barriers on yourself because you're just restricting your own experience. Then it's easier said than done, isn't it?
yeah, definitely you do.
Yeah.
But I think a good way to enjoy anyway is just to be conscious of wanting a great dream, just before you go into sleep, and having that as the last thing in your mind.
Mm.
And you should be able to induce some good dreams.
Yeah, I've been trying for a couple of weeks now, but I just don't seem to be able to manage it.
Maybe you're trying too hard.
Well, I did experience it one time, like a year ago, but I was pretty high on drugs, so I don't know if that counts or not.
I think it counts. I
But
actually think
I
we
did
should
do it.
talk about
Felt
psychedelics
real.
now, but sorry, did you hear me?
No, you say that again, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying we should talk about psychedelics one night. That should be
Yeah,
a
no, we'll have another
topic.
show on that. That's a whole thing in
Tell me about
itself.
this experience.
Pardon?
Tell me about your experience, and I'll tell you if it sounds similar.
Well, I was just flying round the world, basically, not round it. It was a flat Earth that I was actually astral projecting, and I was going into everyone's consciousness that I'd ever seen or had seen me in my life, and trying to wake every individual up. I was quite high on LSD and MDMA and magic mushrooms at the time, though, but it did feel very real, and I wasn't asleep. I was conscious. I was sort of meditating. Um, so yeah, that was my sort of only brush with that experience. And I still think of it now, like as if it was a solid memory. Just how it made me feel. The wind flying through me hair, just flying around like Superman, like unbelievable
Yeah.
speeds, but zapping into people's minds all over the world, everywhere I'd been over my lifetime. So it was like flashbacks of every moment of my life, but like living them all at one moment or within a few moments of each other, but really vivid. It was
Well,
pretty mind blowing.
yeah, that's what it's like. The it's like a solid memory, like you described it then, or the like solid memories
Yeah,
don't feel like they don't feel like dreams, like all higgledy piggledy. Um, they feel real like that. They're like they're lucid. So
like
yeah,
we're getting to a point in society that things that did happen in reality seem more distant than some of the dreams that I've experienced in my life. So it's like when you think of the Mandela effect, it makes you unsure of your own thoughts and what's really happened. And I just think that's your mind playing tricks on you because memories do fade, don't they?
they do.
And then you can easily be mistaken or just like, blurry. You can't really be specific to words and things.
No, people's memories are easily altered.
Mm,
There's been loads of experiments on that. Even the BBC did one where they had like they set this guy up to get stabbed in a pub. Like it was all pretend. They just traumatized 15 people for the sake of TV. But they thought it was real, and then like when they were taking the witness statements and stuff, um, just how easily they were manipulated into saying what they wanted.
yeah, it's frightening. Um, the power of
And those people
suggestion.
convinced. Yeah, well, Derren Brown's an expert in the power of suggestion. And
We was talking about this the other day, wasn't we?
yeah, well, he fits in perfectly to this topic of discussion because when I watch his shows, I find him fascinating because he's a hypnotist and he confuses people's brains and he shuts off their own thinking and he just implants his own thoughts in there. And so he can basically have someone believing that they've thought something else that they haven't, and he's just implanted it there by using like just language skills.
Like, I'm
It's
sure I've
really
seen something
clever.
where they like can convince you that you've murdered someone.
Yeah,
Like they've got that much power over the mind, and they know it all works, and just keep repeating what they're saying, and the next thing they've got you believing it yourself. So they have this knowledge and this power. I don't know if Darren Brown gets his hands on it, but he obviously must be in some like. Is that the magic circle? Do they have access to all this thing? But it's all like
yeah,
cults run anyway, isn't it? Is he just he's obviously part of that because he's got so much publicity and stuff. So
yeah.
he's had knowledge to the hidden secrets. So they must be hidden there because they're using this kind of things on the TV all the time. And people just got the power that television has got over people and the potential of that. And probably Facebook as well, with the colours they use and the rates of the pictures per second and things like that. It's all having an effect on us. It's just
Yeah, it's a
what
constant
level.
overstimulation.
Yeah. like what you experience before you go to sleep also occurs and has an effect on your dream. So, you know, they know it all works, so they're going to take advantage of it, and it'd be silly to say they wouldn't. So where is that getting drawn into our lives? You know, because I mean, the obvious things are the TVs and the advertisements. But what else are they doing, or potential they could do with it?
Everywhere, isn't it? Well, you know, it's in the kids' schools, it's in the education system, it's in the TV and the entertainment system.
But it's the best to say, they're giving you so much stuff that you would actually start ignoring yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what they want, and they don't want you like being aware of self. You want everyone distance from yourself as far as possible.
And distant from each other.
Yeah, that's essential. Yeah, I mean, how many people openly talk about what they dreamt about last night? They just say, "Oh, I had a weird dream," and that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah. Well, I dreamt that I know how the sun works, but I can't remember that bit. I know how the sun works. I saw how it works, and the earth shaped. Just thought I'd let everyone know. It's a flat diamond. Pac-Man wins. Woohoo!
Yeah, Darren Nesbitt, we're right all along. I've seen it in a dream. You weren't watching one of Darren Nesbitt's videos before you went to sleep, were you?
No, it hypnotized me at the Bedford levels.
Yeah, to have this moment 3 years from then.
Yeah.
Well,
Flat diamond.
I was saying you should paint it.
I feel like I've already painted it, to be fair.
Right.
But I only painted one line of the diamond.
It's a flat diamond. Oh, we see it because you can't go take a picture from up there.
One dimensional.
Yeah.
No, I do. I've already painted it in colour anyway, and in atmosphere. So.
So when you astral project yourself, is the Earth flat, or is it? Do you see it, or do you not see it?
Right. Well, interesting. You should say. No, that is the only time I've seen it like that.
Globe, or flat, or a diamond.
Oh, flat. That was like a flat diamond shape, right?
Right.
That was the only time I've seen it like that. The other time I've travelled all over Earth, but it was in this realm, but not in this realm. But I was at ground level. I was at sea level, in fact, because I was escorted round by a huge whale.
Flying or swimming?
No, he was swimming. I'll tell you what happened. I was asleep in the little one bedroom flat on my 4 mattresses, made up as a double bed. And I was just falling asleep, and it was total darkness. And then I realised that I was in water. I was in like really, really deep, dark ocean and water. And I tell you where I was in the heavens above everybody.
Right.
It's real. It's real. Anyway, I was in the heavens above, and when I looked down, this shadow came swimming up, and it was the shadow of one of those big killer whales. And she communicated to me, like, to hold on, and she took me through all the waterways through the whole of Earth, all of them. It was great.
That's a cool dream. See, that's the
That
kind
was a real one.
I want to be having.
That was years before I knew it was flat, though.
All right, so you dreamt it was flat before you even thought it was flat.
I've just never seen a globe. You
I've
know what I mean?
heard.
But I dreamt about the heavens above, about the waters above, and uh, how how it's all connected. We didn't swim up any mountains of ocean anyway.
When I did it, I saw a flat plane and I thought I saw Mount Meru, but on this thread that was opened the next day, there were people arguing to say that they'd astral projected and they did it round the globe and it's a globe and they know it's a globe because of that. So then there's
I've
conscious.
seen that.
So is it just your belief system that's controlling your dreams, or is it?
Yeah, it could definitely play a part in
Yeah, it's
it.
got to, hasn't it?
And that could just, lucid dreams feel real. So it could feel like astral projection.
So you're
But it's
saying
just a lucid
the confusion between a lucid dream and actual astral projecting. Aware,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, right.
hmm Yeah.
I need to get myself some acid, MDMA, and magic mushrooms for trying again.
Yeah. That's your astral projection starter kit right there.
Remember, yeah, my starter kit.
Yeah. Mm. So sometimes, they say you're going through sleep,
Go
and the
on.
first stage of sleep is a really light stage, and they don't think you're dreaming there. And then the second stage, you can dream. Well, anyway, quite often, I start dreaming before I've even fallen asleep.
Well, I was going to say that myself.
I start getting the audio in my ears, like clear audio, that wakes me up.
Well, that's it, innit? That bit wakes you up. So they reckon they have to sense yourself, censor your dreams, so you don't wake yourself up. So that's why you alter things.
Yeah, because it is annoying when you get woke up at that point.
Yeah, because you're shocked, or it's a bit too much, or some people say you're getting
Music.
like the shadow people whispering in your ear. If you're trying to stay awake,
You
whilst
are susceptible to the shadow people at that point.
yeah, that's. I feel that that's the point that I'm not able to get through. It's like it shocks me awake, and then I'm awake for hours. Then, like I've touched upon something, and that's always
Yeah,
the very beginning of sleep.
yeah, it is.
It
It
puts
is.
like a
It's,
sense of fear into me. But is that? I think you mentioned it earlier, but is there a guard there to prevent people doing
I
this
think it is
experience?
guarded. I think it is guarded.
Yeah.
These types of things that we're talking about, these are the types of things that can be scientifically proven. They're basically talking about supernatural
Yeah,
phenomena is what
spirit,
we're talking
isn't it? It's
about.
a connection with the spirit world, isn't it?
But I definitely think there's a spirit world that's intertwined with the dream world, that's intertwined with the astral world.
Mm.
And that's my own personal thoughts on it. Um,
And then there's different levels to that, them worlds as well.
Apparently so, yeah. So yeah,
You
the
should know
things that
more than me because you quite often
well,
get to visit these places.
yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? But I never get any kind of wisdom from them. But great experiences. But yeah, these types of phenomena that we're talking about that can't be scientifically proven, but there are many personal testimonies out there, and I'm giving you one tonight. There's another world, there's a spirit world that can interact with you, and that can it can physically touch you as well. It can, but don't be scared, because it just wants your fear, and that's what it feeds off. People that do lucid dreaming or astral projection or have ever suffered from sleep paralysis often also experience the phenomena of shadow people. And shadow people are very much like the characters in the film. What's that film called? I'm sorry, Dark City. Where they can interact with you when you're in this dream stage where you're in between consciousness and unconsciousness, where you're in between worlds basically. And I feel through experience that their job is to stop you from entering the dream world consciously, or to stop you from astral projecting consciously, because I don't think you're not supposed to be allowed to do these things. And they try and paralyze you with fear. And some people experience a crushing sensation on the chest, where they feel that this shadow being has jumped on them and is trying to break into their body and into the, and it takes all the will and all the might to fight it off. Some people have experienced some actual physical and grievous assaults by these things. So yeah, these are, if you're interested in the paranormal, then these are something else that you can research. Shadow people. There's different theories on what they are, but generally, energy vampire that feeds off your fear, and it kind of is telling you off for being clever.
This place isn't for you. They're trying to put a warning sign there.
Yeah, block you from doing it.
I think they sort of get attached to you as well, because you start running into them quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, you can do. You go through phases. So yeah, yeah, you can go through phases with it. It is told they put a complete mental block on you, where you just you freeze yourself out of your own dreams because of this fear, what they induce in you. So
yeah.
So I do think there's a spirit world out there.
Well, there's got to be, out there. I mean, we can't really keep ignoring it, and it's our connection to the spirit world. So we should be sharing tricks and different techniques. There's one that you told me about, sleeping with your head pointing north. That helps with the astral projection.
Well, if you imagine yourself as a compass needle, and the crown of your head is the tip of the needle, so you're lying flat on your bed and you're the compass needle. You have the crown of your head pointing in a northerly direction. And this, in my opinion, helps you tune into the magnetic frequencies, the electromagnetic frequencies, because you are like a little compass needle and you can tune into Earth's frequencies. You do know where everything is. You have got a built-in compass. You're just not told how to use it, but I'm going to give you a lesson tonight. So then if you blind darkness, so it doesn't have to be in the night time, but it just helps to get into that meditative state, I feel, if it is night time. With your crown of your head pointing north, and if you visualize a ball of energetic light behind your head, and you can see it in your mind's eye, and you focus on that ball, and you pull it towards you, and as it gets closer, you can feel its energy. What will happen is, as it gets closer, you'll start to hear its energy. It'll be like a buzzing vibration in your ears. You'll audibly hear it. And once you've tuned into that vibrational frequency, that is your springboard then to leave your body and to leave your physical body, and then to project whatever your mind can imagine, basically.
So you you actually like can move your head free of your physical body, and then you can start like that's how it begins, isn't it?
It is like you. It is still like you still are still conscious of a body, but you know your body's not there.
Yeah, and you're awake while being able to do this. So it's something that I've been trying to do, but I've been struggling. But I realise it'll be so simple. I'm just probably complicating it in my own mind.
You probably are, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a Robert Monroe technique. And it is one that I've used to induce this, because this is something that I sleep paralysis and out of body experience and astral projection and all this is something that I've been getting since I was a child. So it's something I'm used to. It's still like it's shocking when it happens, but like yeah, I've got a lot of experience in it. So but I didn't know that other people had it. I didn't know it was a thing, and I didn't know that you could induce it. And when I learned what it was, then I followed these techniques to induce it, because it would happen spontaneously. I had no control whatsoever over it. So sometimes it would happen, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it would. So I use this Monroe technique, and honestly, after about 2 nights, I was inducing it just using this technique that I explained before. But yeah, you can look that up as well.
I think your explanation was pretty good as what he gives, really.
So, there are some, because talking about consciousness and, basically splitting your consciousness when you're dreaming and being conscious of it and splitting your consciousness from your physical body, it kind of links into another topic that I'd like to discuss briefly. And if we talked about it last week, just let me know, is cloning. Because it interests me.
Is what? Say it again.
Oh, I said cloning, like Dolly the sheep.
Yeah, cloning, right, go on.
Because, is cloning real? Can they clone sheep? Can they clone people? Can they splice genes and make mutants? They certainly want you to think they can. And there's a lot of evidence out there for it being possible, but you just don't know, do you? But
they can cross.
There are people that talk about it and talk about cloning centres and talk about possibly being cloned. And the reason I'm linking it into the topic of dreams is because he claims, this guy called Donald Marshall, people can look him up, he claims that he was a clone in the cloning centre. And he saw all these horrific things that they do to clones, because they breed clones just for entertainment, all kinds of wild, depraved entertainment.
Well, I can imagine zero human rights, even though we've not many left ourselves.
And so they, for example, Britney Spears, when they sign the soul to the devil, they agree to certain terms and conditions. Well, she allowed them to clone her, apparently, according to this guy. And many celebrities do, but they don't realise what they're signing up for. And so they keep getting all these clones made of them. But at night time, when Britney Spears goes to sleep, her consciousness is transferred to the clone in the cloning centre, where it's tortured and used for sex parties with disgusting old men and things. So Britney Spears, according to Donald Marshall, doesn't dream. She just has these clone experiences in REM sleep. Is any of this making sense?
Yeah, because I don't dream, so perhaps I've been cloned. That'd be a good reason behind it.
It could be, but you might have memories of what happens to the clones because your consciousness is attached to that clone.
Right. I'm just trying to remember the dreams that I can remember, which are very few. But
Oh, good night, John. John Smith's getting off.
right,
He's
cheers, guys,
enjoyed listening.
watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, John.
Yeah.
Good night. Go on, what you're saying. So, yeah, because you don't dream,
I don't dream,
you
or
think that,
very rarely, but well, you just brought it up now. I've never thought about it before at this point, so don't hold me to it. But yeah, nothing would surprise me because there can only be one of you. It's not a natural process to be cloned, and but would you have that kind of connection? I suppose twins have a subconscious
it's
connection.
well documented.
So a twin of yourself would be, there would be some kind of connection there, wouldn't there? I mean, we don't understand half of what we're experiencing in this reality, so to do that would come at some sort of cost to yourself.
Yeah, it's well documented that twins
Well,
hold that psychic connection.
yeah, they like finish each other's words, and they know exactly where they're coming from, and they know if each other's in trouble, even when they're not together. They'll get sort of. It's like you with your kids, really. There's a bond there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you'd have that. That's just a child, which is half of you. Can you imagine a full you, as in a clone? There has to be something there, don't there? If they can do that, but they're even coming out now and saying they've cloned the first monkeys, humans, and X. So like they tell us everything 40 years after the fact. So yeah, clones are very real and alive and kicking, and they put it out there in music, don't they? In some of the music videos.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's what that Donald Marshall was saying. He was saying, if you break down some of Britney's videos, she tells you what's going on. She tells you what happens to her in the farming centres and stuff in these videos.
Yeah.
So, but there's quite a few people like him that share stories like him that are very bizarre. Not the norm in any way, like things that you could never imagine. But do these places exist? Does this stuff go on?
What's it? Sorry, I'm missing something here. What we're talking about?
It's all right. I've gone off on a tangent.
Yeah, I've lost that one. Now back to the clones. Though, they've been doing it for years because they did it with like Adolf Hitler. They had like a clone of him, in case he got assassinated, and these world leaders and things. So everything advances, doesn't it, to a point where they probably had made sex dolls through it for the price.
I read an article about Putin's wife, who claimed that that's not Putin.
I don't think it's Putin. If you look at him from 10 years ago, he looks like a totally different. Well, not totally different. There is a strong resemblance there, but he definitely looks like somebody else. But they've probably got 67. Well, if you could do that, that's the first thing you'd do, innit? You'd like clone your leader because they're always trying to bump each other off.
Mm. Yeah, and just hope that you can transfer your. Well, this is how they can stay alive forever as well, couldn't it? Could solve that little problem for them.
Yeah,
Keep cloning new bodies and transferring the consciousness into the new one.
but like with these clones, they claim to grow him in like a 4 year period to a full adult. I mean, would that not have some sort of effect on your aging process?
Mm.
Would what's the life expectancy of one of these things? To get like a clone of Putin, I mean, he's 60-year old. There, would you age it up to 60-year old?
I've
Um,
no idea.
and then keep it at 60-year old and not go beyond that point, or can they clone them to the exact moment as they are in that time?
No, well, they're all born into these family bloodlines.
Yeah, well, yeah,
So,
not just
well, maybe. Well,
KG
maybe when they,
who's sorry,
how everything's planned years in advance.
yeah,
And they're like, well, you're going to have a little boy and he's going to be president of Russia or whatever. But what they do, they make them in the lab instead. So they'll make a test tube baby. So instead of having one of them, they'll have six of them.
yeah.
So
So
there always was six. Mhm.
you think they think
That's
that far
wanted.
ahead?
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, they probably do. Or can they advance them up to the current date? But then they'd need to be educated, wouldn't they? They couldn't just stick some mute 5-year old clone out there trying to interpret like one of the most powerful supposedly men in the world. You have to sit and talk with people. You have to be informed at least to be able to speak and to stay in the in-depth conversation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, they
But,
reckon that's why these problems need handlers,
yeah,
because they don't behave very well.
yeah. Well, they did
They
it
do.
with Hillary Clinton when she had that stumble and that, and then all of a sudden a new Hillary Clinton pops out, 15 years younger and totally different person, sort of. So it wasn't a very good clone.
No. Apparently, according to this guy, Donald Marshall, there's different series of clones. There's like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, etc.
Right. So perhaps they have got the process of aging and or even taking the knowledge that you know for yourself and implanting that into the clone. We're just
Yeah. He
children.
reckons you can grow a full adult clone just out of a single skin cell,
Yeah,
in 6 months.
but like to have all your thought processes installed in that clone, are they at that point in time where they can do it like a memory transfer or a personality transfer, whatever?
Well,
They must have.
there is a consciousness split where the clone's got your consciousness and your memories right up until that point. But from that point on, all its clone memories are its new ones.
Yeah, well, I suppose they won't have to
So
install all the memories, would they? Just the selective ones. But
that's selective it can be.
yeah, but are they, are they capable of doing such things?
Mm.
Well, I guess
Yeah, don't know.
probably.
I think they're capable of all sorts.
Yeah, oh yeah, because they're like this stuff we're talking about now was like mainstream over 100 years ago, but now it's never talked about. But it doesn't mean that they don't study these kind of things and put a lot of like emphasis and that into it because it's quite meaningful. I think I was on about there was some like prophet quite recently, and this did she go around touring the world and tell people of her dreams, and all these like world leaders would listen to what she had to say, like what if she dreamt something relevant to them, and they took it on board and took it really serious. She was like a celebrity to them, but not known to any of us. So yeah, they definitely take it on board.
They'll have the witches as well.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
They'll have their own celebrity witches.
Yeah, they'll label you like as a witch, and it's like, is being a witch a bad thing? I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person if you like make some herbal remedies and that's a form of witchcraft, isn't it? It's just they try and paint it all black,
Yeah.
but it isn't. It's like just being creative is a form of witchcraft. Being artistic, being a poet, being a musician, creating something from nothing. It's it's just there's nothing. It don't have to be dark. It can be beautiful, can it? The light, let the light flood out.
Um,
Mm.
wisdom.
Yeah. So, do you ever like paint any of your dreams? Have you tried to?
No,
No. Maybe you should give it a go.
no, no. Yeah, maybe
It'd be
I'll
really
try it.
dark.
I don't know how I'd get that down, to be fair. I up until recently, I always just paint, um, painting feelings, paint expressions of myself and expressions of other people. So, um, recently I've been painting flowers.
Flowers.
All the so
You're breaking up.
I did. Oh, oh,
Sound's going really naff.
that's it. Should we call it a night then?
Would you want to give your munchie menus out? Your little munchie tip for the night?
Yeah, I will, because it's easy. This week you're having broccoli and potato soup, and so you're gonna need a bag of potatoes and a load of broccoli and some Stilton cheese. Fry some onion, um, boil the potatoes and broccoli, blend and cream and salt and pepper. Add your onions in, blend it all together. Oh, and add your Stilton cheese. And hey presto, beautiful soup. Have it with chips, have it with butties, have it on its own. It's delicious. That's it.
Uh,
You've had that before.
what you've cooked that?
I've made you that, yeah, broccoli and Stilton soup before.
I can't remember. Must
Oh.
be good then.
Well, you'll have to take it from me, guys. It's delicious.
Yeah, it sounded nice.
So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Dreams and sleep
Yeah,
still remain in
okay.
this scientific age a mystery. Hopefully, people will pay more attention to the dreams and see if they can improve their lives from it.
Yeah, I think you should title the show "Sleeping Dreams" and then the Aaron and Zannie show, because then
Okay, okay.
there's a thumbnail on because people ain't talk about this stuff.
I shall do that.
Yeah, just an idea. I think my
Thank you very
computer
much.
is doing that.
You
You there?
still there?
Yeah, I'm here. So yeah, we'll call it a
Yeah.
night. Next week we're going to talk about psychedelic experiences and DMT,
Yes, we shall talk
Changa.
about
ayahuasca.
We'll talk about drugs.
We'll
That's
talk
the
about
topic.
we'll talk about getting fucked up, man.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
Brilliant. Oh, Aaron, good night, viewers.
Until next time.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see you next Friday. We'll try for next Friday.
Yeah, all right, no worries. All right, catch you later.
See
Thanks
you
for watching.
later. Good night.
Hope you enjoy it if you listen. See ya.